Living with the sacrifice we made, running in circles. We never had time to live it all. Wrote my soul. Living with the sacrifice we made, running in circles. We never had time to live it all. Wrote my soul. Wrote my soul. Time to live it
Oh my goodness, man, do we have a lot to talk about. The season premiere of Monday Night Raw. And ladies and gentlemen, we're moving back to 2 hours on Monday night. For now, I already see the troglodytes, the half-baked idiots on social media.
Oh, well, what about the rest of the talent that won't be used, JD?
Jey Uso! Is his family better than the Steiners? No. But he's #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther! Oh, man. Gunther is class. He put Bret Hart in his place tonight, man. Oh, my goodness. Wyatt's an American made, and we got Hell in a Cell. It is official. Punk McIntyre, October 5th, and it's gonna be a banger. Ladies and gentlemen, I got my cold beverage. We're going to the beer garden tonight. We're powered by Magic Mind. And when I get to the beer garden on this Monday night, man, fall is in the air. I'm smelling the pumpkin ales. I'm smelling the goodness of all those yummy beers this holiday season. I guess, what, Halloween is a holiday, right? Love me some Halloween. Love me some fall beers, man, some fall lagers. When I get there on this Monday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for September 9th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Monday evenings, wherever you may be. Ladies and gentlemen, we are finally moving back to 2 hours on Monday night. Man, I have prayed for this day to come. I didn't think it was going to come ever again, but I've prayed every single year. I have wished upon a star every single year. I've prayed to the gods every single year. Please, Monday Night Raw, move it back to 2 hours, man. Everybody asks for years, as long as I've been doing this. Oh, JD, what would you change about Monday Night Raw if you were in charge? Moving it back to 2 hours is the first thing always about what I would change about Monday Night Raw. They made it such a subtle announcement, too. It wasn't even a big deal. We're moving back to 2 hours, man. October 7th. Nice and subtle did they announce it tonight on Monday night. October 7th, 2024. Monday Night Raw will be moving back to 2 hours. And this is for the duration of 2024. As long as they are on the USA Network, this will only be up until the end of 2024. Nobody knows what's going to happen when they move to Netflix on January 6th. 2025. That will be the first Monday Night Raw episode in the Netflix era. Now, if you guys remember Monday Night Raw, this is the last contractual year for Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. They negotiated and they signed a deal with Netflix, which will begin on January 6, 2025. But being that they are running out of time on the USA Network, which has been the home for Monday Night Raw for decades, they didn't have a home. So WWE inked a deal with NBCU to keep Monday Night Raw on the USA Network in the 3 months up until the Netflix premiere on January 6th, 2025. Clearly, they wanted WWE to remain. It's probably the highest rated show on their network. WWE needed a home. They're making a nice chunk of change to stay on the USA Network, but it's only for 3 months. And they are not paying for that third hour. Monday Night Raw will be 2 hours, October 7th, for the rest of the year. I've seen a lot of people complaining on social media tonight during this fantastic news.
Oh, well, what about the rest of the roster, man? Everybody's not going to be used. How could you like this, JD? The shows are better.
All right, the shows are better. That's great. I know they're better. I've been telling you they've been better for the entire year. Monday Night Raw has just turned the page on being better. I get it. But that doesn't negate the fact that Monday Night Raw at 3 hours is still too long of a show. I don't want to watch 3 hours of anything, let alone fucking pro wrestling. There are cons to this, yes, but the overwhelming amount of pros to this decision is great. We've been asking for this for years. And all because Triple H is in charge, you want an extra hour of television that really doesn't do anything but make your mind into mush It brings the overall rating for Monday Night Raw down. It's the least watched hour in the entire 3-hour program. And you're worried about who not being used? Pure garbage collection. Who exactly are you worried about not being used? Zelina Vega? Dragon Lee? Cruz del Toro? Who the fuck do you care about getting television time on Monday Night Raw? How many times have I expressed this to you guys? Every single year, 2 hours. 2 hours is the sweet spot. 2 hours is where they need to go. And now that they're moving back to 2 hours, now you're all citing, oh, well, I mean, the shows were terrible under Vince McMahon. They should have moved to 2 hours then. No. No, because Vince was in charge and the money they were making, they were never going to move it back to 2 hours. It always should have. It never should have moved to 3 hours, period. But now that Triple H is in charge, and now the shows are a little bit better than what they used to be, a lot better, I should say. Now you want to move it back to 3 hours? You want it to be at 3 hours? I don't understand you people. I mean, the pro wrestling fan, man, I swear to God, and I say it every fucking year, the dumbest fan of any genre of sports that there is. Dumber than MLB, NHL, NFL, hockey, whatever. The dumbest fucking people. You don't know what the fuck you want. This is a good thing. That means quality over quantity is going to take precedent. That means less fluff on Monday. More of what we actually want to see on Monday. An easier watch on Monday. And pardon me for being a little bit greedy and selfish. 2 hours for a content creator from 8 to 10, and then I get to go live at 10:20 and get out of here around 12 o'clock instead of sitting here till 1:30. Man, oh man, I can't fucking wait. That's a fucking great move, if you ask me, being that this is my full-time shtick. I love it. Monday Night Raw moving back to 2 hours is a fantastic move. It should have been done fucking a decade ago. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with SmackDown. I seen somewhere online, someone please correct me. I don't know if this is legit or not, but the season premiere of SmackDown coming this Friday, I seen somewhere, I'm sure it was a fake. I'm sure it was some Facebook group that was posting fake news. 3 hours on Friday night. The season premiere of SmackDown is going to be 3 hours with a ton of surprises. I don't know if that's true or not. Some people are thinking that SmackDown's moving to 3 hours. Why the fuck would you move SmackDown to 3 hours when they got 35 to 40% less roster than Monday Night Raw, and the show on SmackDown Friday night that absolutely would die 1,000 deaths if it was 3 hours? I don't really understand that logic. For a season premiere, sure. A one-time gig, sure. But to move it full-time to 3 hours, I don't think that's the right move at all. That's a terrible move. Monday Night Raw should remain at 2 hours. SmackDown should remain at 2 hours. What does this mean for Netflix? Does Raw move to 3 hours going back to Netflix on January 6, 2025? I don't know. I don't know what the landscape of WWE is going to look like on Netflix. I don't know if there's going to be commercials. I don't know if there's going to be limited commercials. I don't know how many commercials there will be for the tiers that you're paying for on Netflix. I don't know. I don't know what they paid for. Did they pay for 2 hours? Did they pay for 3 hours? I don't know. But what I hope is that it's not 3 hours. WWE Raw on a normal night like tonight is never fully 3 hours. It's 3 hours in length, but you don't get 3 hours of content. I hope to God that we don't get any more than we need to on January 6th, 2025. I could see Monday Night Raw pushing 2 hours one week. I could see Monday Night Raw pushing 2 hours and 20 minutes the next week. I could see Monday Night Raw going 2 hours and 36 minutes on a given week. Never fully 3 hours. That's great. That's what 3 hours is way too long. I don't want to be sitting here from 8 to 11 p.m. ever. Neither should you. It's a great move for WWE to be moving back to 2 hours. Triple H has always said booking a 3-hour Monday Night Raw on a weekly basis consistently is one of the most difficult things for him to do. He's been saying it for years, even when he wasn't in charge of the main roster. He's seen it. He felt it. I don't know why you would want your 3 hours on Monday night. I mean, it's the only show in the pro wrestling space that's 3 hours. Dynamite's 2 hours, NXT's 2 hours, SmackDown's 2 hours, TNA's 2 hours. You'd think that we're onto something here. Oh, well, let's keep Monday Night Raw 3 hours. I mean, these people are fucking mental.
Oh, but I'm not gonna get to see Kiana James.
Who gives a shit? Book her on the show. Let's get more quality on the show. Instead, you guys want fucking, oh, let me get up and go to the bathroom. I don't give a fuck if I miss this segment. That's what you want out of your show? I want to sit and not miss a single part of the show. But 3 hours only invites shit that you don't want to see. They'll manage. Triple H has booked a great 3-hour Raw since he's taken over. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to be very, very resourceful at 2 hours. Hell in a Cell. It is official. We talked about it probably before anybody. Right here on this channel, man. You didn't need a fucking $5 paywall from Schmuck to give you news on Hell in a Cell and when that was going to be. All these so-called journalists.
Oh, well, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Hell in a Cell, man. That's the plan.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. Ever since Clash at the Castle happened, then some fucking geek reporter said, do you see yourself stepping inside Hell in a Cell? We haven't even gotten a Drew McIntyre CM Punk match at that point. He was still injured. You knew right there. The answer that he gave. Well, good thing you ain't booking the fucking shows. Why would I want a Hell in a Cell match for the first time in the feud to happen at the first match that we have between me and McIntyre? I'm glad you're not booking the show. I knew it from then. Everybody knew it from then. We had to get him back first. We had to get SummerSlam to happen. We had to get the strap match to happen. And now after last week's escapades with Drew McIntyre breaking the bracelet, now we're off and running. Hell in a Cell is official October 7th, or I don't know, it's October 5th, sorry. October 5th, Bad Blood in Atlanta, paying homage to the very first Hell in a Cell in St. Louis. Not going to make a mistake tonight. St. Louis between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, which saw probably the greatest debut in WWE history. The Big Red Machine, Kane, showing up and basically bursting onto the scene there. This is great. I am super excited for Bad Blood. I am over the moon excited about Bad Blood. Not only do I love Hell in a Cell, one of my favorite concepts in WWE history, but the fact that we're bringing it back and we're celebrating the first ever Hell in a Cell that took place in 1997 with one here in 2024, and Triple H is reviving the show and the match to the day. Bad Blood, October 5th in Atlanta. The original one was in St. Louis. Love it. This is just beautiful, man. It's like poetry. It's like full circle shit, man. I love it. And a lot of people were desensitized to the Hell in a Cell. A lot of people were just over it. The concept was killed. The match was sterilized. There was no blood. They just did it for aesthetics, and they did it for look, and they did it for a way to sell tickets. I mean, you could just take this. Look at what Triple H has done with Bad Blood and returning Hell in a Cell to WWE programming. Just look at what he did with this entire show and this concept. He waited for a feud that was worth it. He waited for two guys with a story to be inside that cage so that it is worth it for the fans and worth it for the homage that they're paying for the original match that took place in 1997, celebrating it to the day on October 5th. Look at what Vince McMahon did to that gimmick. Vince McMahon killed the gimmick beyond recognition, man. You didn't recognize it anymore. It didn't start out that way. He started doing multiple ones. He started doing 2 of them on the same night, 3 of them on the same night, absolutely killing the gimmick. There's not, and nor should there be, 3 gimmick matches like that on a single show. There should not be 3 feuds in the company that are at that level where you got to put all of them inside Hell in a Cell. Only save the most volatile one for Hell in a Cell. At that point, you just kill the gimmick. You kill the mystique of it. Imagine opening up a show and you see a Hell in a Cell. By the end of the show and the main event's inside a Hell in a Cell, you would have already seen everything that happened inside Hell in a Cell. This is a match that should be saved for the most special of circumstances. The hottest of feuds, the most volatile of feuds. And that's exactly what Triple H did. Triple H looks to rebuild. Vince McMahon looked to kill all the time, no matter if it was gimmick matches, pay-per-views, talent. Triple H creates, Vince kills. Said it for years. So if you need a big difference between what Triple H does and what Vince McMahon did, just look no further than Hell in a Cell. Drew McIntyre tonight pointed the finger at Wade Barrett. And he said he had a problem with the way Wade Barrett spoke to him last week. Punk is not here tonight. I got a problem with Wade Barrett. I'll get into what I think is happening there. Even though I've already expressed how I would book this match with Punk and McIntyre and making it a last or loser leaves town match, I would say. I said, there's no way that these 2 guys are going to coexist on Monday Night Raw, even after Hell in a Cell. If they're on the same show and Punk wins and Punk goes after Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, why would Drew McIntyre not go after CM Punk even still after Hell in a Cell? Did WWE tonight tease you on McIntyre's next feud after CM Punk? I don't know. Could we be looking at Wade Barrett coming out of retirement to wrestle Drew McIntyre? It's the first thing that I thought of. The match is made official regardless. McIntyre is not wrestling Wade Barrett at this point. It's a potential. But the match is made. Punk, McIntyre, it was actually expressed and announced, made official by Adam Pearce. Now, I've seen some people saying, and I hear the sentiment. I understand it. A lot of people were like, I think CM Punk should have made the announcement. CM Punk should have went to Adam Pearce. CM Punk should have been out there. He's showing up next week. They could have announced it next week. They didn't need to do it tonight. That CM Punk should have been the one to make the announcement for Hell in a Cell. Sure. But if you watch last week's show, which this is a plague right now on social media, people tend to, A, have shitty memories, B, aren't really watching the show and are just out there trolling. CM Punk was never going to be in Calgary. There was no way CM Punk was going to be in Calgary. CM Punk was brutalized last week. So just based off last week's show, CM Punk was never set to make that announcement for Hell in a Cell. They could have waited, but they didn't. They wanted to generate excitement. There's one thing that Triple H wanted to do. He wanted to basically lay out his cards tonight for Bad Blood, and it's looking like an all-timer. Adam Pearce made the announcement. I understand that people wanted CM Punk to make the announcement, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with Adam Pearce making the announcement whatsoever. Adam Pearce has had to deal with this head-on for months. He's had a lot of problems on Monday night. And this is one of his biggest problems, if not the biggest problem he has on Monday night. And he wants it to end. So he spoke to Punk. He mentioned Punk tonight. He spoke to Punk. The match is official. I'm ending it. I don't give a shit what you guys do. This is it. Hell in a Cell is official. And Adam Pearce made the announcement, and that's fine. They covered all their bases. They covered every single base that they needed to. McIntyre put Punk on the shelf. Punk wasn't there. Adam Pearce said he spoke to Punk. Punk will be back. I'm making the announcement now. This is over. This will end October 5th in Atlanta. Hell in a Cell. It's over. I don't know what else you guys want. Then we got the tease of McIntyre and Wade Barrett. We don't know what that means. McIntyre even made a mention that Punk's promo last week was ridiculous. I mean, they're covering all their bases here. McIntyre stated, I pinned CM Punk. And then he comes out after my match at Bash in Berlin, where I lost. He didn't pin me. This fucking guy thinks he can touch all four corners in a strap match and claim that he's got a victory over me big enough to go after the world championship. Motherfucker, you didn't pin me. They covered all their bases. Yes, Punk beat McIntyre, but Punk didn't pin Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's got a pinfall over CM Punk. CM Punk will pin Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell. McIntyre doesn't have a good history inside Hell in a Cell. That's Punk's match to win. And then he will go on and challenge Gunther at Survivor Series for the World Heavyweight Championship. Whatever happens there, I'm sure will have a direct effect on what happens going into the Royal Rumble. But they covered all their bases tonight. Love it. We'll get into the rest of the show. Sami Zayn and Gunther. That is looking like the World Heavyweight Championship for Bad Blood. I hope so. It should take place at the pay-per-view and nowhere else. Bret Hart made his return to WWE. Looking like the old man that he is, man. Love it. Love Bret the Hitman Hart. We'll talk about that great segment tonight, which got the wheels in motion for Sami Zayn and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Fatal 4-Way IC title tournament final took place. Braun Strowman, Jey Uso, Ilja Dragonov, and Pete Dunne. Number one contender is Jey Uso. I hope that takes place also at Bad Blood for the Intercontinental Championship. And Bad Blood is absolutely taking shape to a point where I said it may be an all-timer. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley made official for the Women's World Championship, and Finn Balor versus Damian Priest also made official for Bad Blood. And we got a lot to get into tonight on this Monday Night Raw post right here on Off the Script. Thank you guys very much for joining me on your Monday nights. Tonight we're powered by Magic Mind. What is Magic Mind? It's magic in a bottle. Love it. I add it to my favorite sparkling beverage. And does it keep me energized, man? Yes, it does. It keeps me focused. It keeps me energized. It keeps me away from those midday naps. Couple of doses of those Magic Minds in my sparkling beverage, man. Twice a day. Keeps me going. It's going to keep you guys going as well, man. Sign up. MagicMind.com/JD from NY. Use that promo code JD from NY. Save 20% off your one-time purchase and up to 48% off for a subscription. So make sure you guys go do that. We'll talk about them a little bit later on in the show. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. We got 2,100 people in here tonight on YouTube. And shout out to my Twitch family. We are live on Twitch as well. We don't got 2,100 people over on Twitch, but whoever is watching me on the Purple Snake, thank you guys very much. We're looking to build our Twitch community over there, man. We are pretty close to 11,000 followers on Twitch. So if you guys are on Twitch, man, thank you very much for hanging out with me tonight. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. It's a great way to support as well. Any questions, comments, and concerns, I will address them in the super chat portion of the show. We'll pop open a couple of cold beverages and have a good time, man. Just hang out. Tomorrow night, The Solid Monster and I will be live for TNT. And man, oh man, are we going to get into some shit. The criticisms of AEW All Out have awoken the beast. Was AEW All Out too violent? According to some, there are petitions online to cancel AEW. Pussies. Bunch of pussies. Listen, man, I've given AEW their fair share of criticisms, valid criticisms, deserved criticisms, and I've always expressed when they've been spot on and great. All Out was great. If you didn't like All Out, you clearly haven't been watching the AEW product. If you had a problem with Swerve and Hangman, you clearly didn't pay attention to the fucking storyline building up as to why they were even in the steel cage. Had some geek tell me today, it sucked. I don't know why there was a piece of wood in the match. It was so, cringy. Maybe if you watched the fucking show, you'd realize why there was a burnt piece of wood in the steel cage on Saturday night. Chris Statlander had thumbtacks and kendo sticks, and the women killed it. John Moxley suffocated Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag. I mean, we'll talk about it on Tuesday Night Titans, man. I'm sure we'll have a lot to say. I don't even know Jason's opinion on it, man. I haven't even listened to his review yet. So I may go in blind, honestly. So we'll talk about that tomorrow night as well, man. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting into this Monday Night Raw post. Let's get into it. We start off Calgary, Alberta, Canada, man. The Scotiabank Saddle Dome. Joe Tessitore, second night, second weekend. That's play-by-play. I thought he did a much better job tonight. And he's going to get better. He's easy to listen to. Love Joe Tess. Last week, I thought he was a little too quiet. You got a little bit of that tonight. Still a little bit too quiet at points. But, man, when he gets into the action, he's very good. He's a likable guy. He's a likable personality. He brings great energy to the show. He's knowledgeable. He's prepared. He didn't really fuck things up tonight. He called moves in the match. I'm loving what he brings to the table on Monday night. It is a much needed and much welcomed change to Monday night, being that we got Kevin Patrick and Jimmy Smith and Mike Adamle and whoever else they want to fucking bring in that doesn't have a fucking clue as to what WWE is. Joe Tessitore did a very good job tonight. Really enjoying what he's doing, and he's only going to get better. This is only his second week. They cut to the arena where Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore introduced the show while standing at ringside with the fans behind them. Joe asked Barrett if he was ready for an 8-person street fight, and we get a video package highlighting how we got here with American-made Chad Gable and the Creeds and Ivy Nile and the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six was comprised of Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, and for the first time in an active in-ring role, wrestling. For the first time, we saw Nikki Cross in the Wyatt Six wrestling tonight. Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, was sitting at ringside in the rocking chair. He was not in this 8-person tag team match. American Made is obviously Chad Gable, the Creeds, Brutus and Julius, and Ivy Nile. I thought this was great. This was commercial-free throughout the entire match. You got a whole absolute fucking chaotic 8-man tag team match with not a single commercial break thrown in between. Love it. I thought this was fun. I thought they did a great job of showcasing the chaos while also integrating the mixed tag team element, having Nikki Cross a female and Ivy Nile a female in this big 8-person Texas Tornado tag team match. I thought they did a very good job at that. People were wondering, well, how are they going to integrate Nikki Cross into this? How are they going to integrate Ivy Nile into this when the majority of the competitors in this match are the men? They did a very good job at that. And Nikki Cross even got involved with Chad Gable, which was great. And people loved it. This was fun. The ending, I could see people being pissed off by, because if you're a fan of Chad Gable, if you're a fan of American Made, then you are probably wondering what is going on with all of them. I don't know. I wish I had the answers. I'm a man of many words on most nights. I don't really know what's going on with American Made and why they seemingly are put in a position to lose. But this was fun. And I've defended Chad Gable's position in the company. He just signed the new contract. He's fucking great at everything they throw at him. He's one of the most entertaining guys on the entire show. The Creeds are going to be great. Just by them being paired up with Chad Gable, they will benefit greatly. So will Ivy Nile. They've been in the main event of Monday Night Raw a few times over the past 2 months. They've been feuding with the Wyatt Six, which is one of the most popular acts in the entire company. Obviously, something special to a lot of different people, being that they are paying homage to the great Bray Wyatt. But they have lost more times than I would really care for. I don't want to see them lose anymore. This was a perfect opportunity for American Made to get a victory over the Wyatt Six before they eventually do another one-on-one match between Chad Gable and Uncle Howdy. And they didn't take that opportunity, which makes me think now this is it. I don't want to see any more of the Creeds and Chad Gable against the Wyatt Six. I don't want to see any more bantering back and forth between Bo Dallas and Chad Gable. I am over it. I am over it. They need to move American Made on to something else, and they need to move American Made on to get their momentum back. Wins. Which is not going to happen with the Wyatt Six. But like I said, all in all, they did a very good job of keeping people entertained. It was chaotic. It was fun. It didn't go over the top. And it was everything it needed to be. Nikki Cross. They are actually calling her Nikki Cross. They didn't call her Sister Abigail or Abby the Witch. Nikki Cross. And she didn't look over the top like she has been with the getup. She looked like Nikki Cross with very light makeup on her face. She didn't have the full-on makeup that we've seen of her in the past several weeks. She tackled Ivy Nile to start the match. Uncle Howdy, like I said, was sitting in the rocking chair watching from ringside. The rest of the crew attacked American Made, and the match was underway. Cross cleared the announce table, but Ivy Nile dropped her on the announce table as Gable attacked Loomis and Gacy with a kendo stick. Eric Rowan no-sold the kendo stick and knocked down American Made, all three of them. The men, not Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile then sprayed a fire extinguisher on Rowan's face, and the Creeds gave him a spine buster through a table. Crowd obviously chanted obligatory, we want tables, like 5 minutes into the match. I mean, I get it, folks. You love tables, but, I mean, if there's one chant in pro wrestling that I honestly find a lot cringy is, we want tables. Great, we want tables. Let them build up to it first. I get it. We all love tables. So, as soon as the Creeds give Rowan a spine buster through the table, which looked great, they buried him underneath table rubble and chairs, and they temporarily, for now, took him out of the match. Crowd popped for the table spot. They booed American Made. They placed a trash can over Joe Gacy's head, and they swung at it very wildly. All three members of American Made took turns bashing the trash can while it was over Joe Gacy's body. Ivy Nile looked under the ring for something, but found Nikki Cross, who knocked her over the announce table. Rowan, at this point, rose from the dead and rose from underneath all the rubble and debris and kicked down a section of the timekeeper's barricade and started using it as a weapon, knocking over Brutus and Julius and Chad Gable. He was using it like he was fending off zombies in The Walking Dead. Rowan almost had it won with the chokeslam on Brutus, but Gable broke up the cover. There was this spot where the Creeds knocked Rowan out of the ring, and Gable gave him a German suplex into the barricade, which looked fantastic. Crowd chanted, this is awesome. Gacy and Loomis made a comeback for the Wyatts. Loomis drove Brutus through a table with a diving leg drop off the apron. Gacy wanted to put Gable through a table, but Gable met him on the turnbuckles and hit an angle slam, which I actually was a little petrified for because it looked like Gable came down on the back of his head. I think Gable went through most of the table, and Gacy himself did not. So I don't know what happened there. Hopefully Chad Gable is all right. But he did hit the angle slam on Joe Gacy through the table off of the top rope. Gable went for the cover. Gacy kicked out, transitioned right into an ankle lock. Ivy Nile hit Gacy at the same time while he was in the ankle lock with the kendo stick. Nikki Cross then yanked Ivy Nile out of the ring and gave Gable a German suplex. Cross then gave Nile a swinging neck breaker onto a pile of chairs that took her out of the match. All of a sudden, Uncle Howdy finally got involved. He sat and watched his family do the job and said, you know what? I think we need a little extra help here. So Gable found himself face-to-face with Uncle Howdy, but Rowan ran him over with a tackle and slammed him onto the steel steps with a claw. Kind of claw-looking chokeslam. He grabbed Gable's face and lifted him up and slammed him on the steel steps. Uncle Howdy finally got in the ring. He dropped one of the Creeds on his head with a Sister Abigail, and then Loomis finished Gable off with a splash off the top rope. This was great. 1, 2, 3, and the Wyatt 6 get the victory. I enjoyed this. It was fun. No commercials made it even more enjoyable, and the Wyatts continue their winning ways. I will agree that Chad Gable needs a victory, or American Made needs a victory. I don't know where we go from here, but I think after this, I don't think I want to see another one-on-one match with Uncle Howdy and Chad Gable, because it's only going to result in the same thing, a Chad Gable loss. We already got the one-on-one match. It was very good for what it was. It was the debut of Bo Dallas after several years, and he looked very good in his debut. I think this street fight kind of wrote the final chapter on American Made and on the Wyatts, and I think we need to move both factions on to something else. Wyatts can continue their winning ways against someone else and pick apart somebody else, find the wrong in somebody else, but Chad Gable needs to start winning matches. The dude is way too good to be losing week after week after week after week. And this is where also the tag team championships come into play. I don't know what we're doing with the tag team titles. I really don't. Let's start there. The Creeds will win tag team title gold before Chad Gable ever wins singles gold on Monday Night Raw. The Creeds should absolutely begin their ascent, and you should be booking them into position to win the tag team championships. They will be fine when they get to that point. They're fine now with Chad Gable, but Gable is going to be the heat magnet that they need and is going to be the heat magnet to keep that momentum going. The Creed should absolutely be going after the tag team championships. Let's rack up some wins for them if Gable's not going to win. I think that's the way to go first. But I hope this is over with. It was fun while it lasted. The promos were very good. And the matches, I mean, they weren't lighting the world on fire, but they were serviceable. And they did what they needed to do. It introduced us to the Wyatt 6. It got them their first major storyline. And Chad Gable coming out of American Alpha and then joining and starting American Made, and the way he treated his old family, it all tied in very nicely with the Wyatt 6. Remember, Chad Gable was one of the first notable figures upon the Wyatt debut where they destroyed the entire backstage area on that one night to close Monday Night Raw. He was the one that looked like he got a gunshot wound to the head. They focused on him very early on, and the camera lingered on him. We've been feuding since then. I think it's about time we close this chapter and then move on to something else. They made the announcement. Liv Morgan, or the Alpha Cat. Did I say American Alpha? You can see where my mind is at, man. Nobody's better than American Alpha. Alpha Academy. That's a good mess up. They made the announcement Liv Morgan will defend her Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley at Bad Blood on October 5th in Atlanta. Now, right now, there's no stipulation. There's no special circumstance for this match. It is not Hell in a Cell. Just a standard one-on-one match. So at that point, I don't really know where we're going. We still have a little bit less than a month to go. They could always add a stipulation. We don't know what's going to happen. Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest have been treated like rag dolls by the Judgment Day the last couple of weeks. Rhea Ripley selling the knee injury, and Damian Priest got a beating tonight. So we don't know if they are going to add a stipulation or not. I said a couple of weeks ago, I am not one of those guys that wants double Hell in a Cell. I don't. I think it's worthless. I think any more than one kills the gimmick. And I think Triple H is going to stick to his guns, and I think CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are going to be the only match to be inside Hell in a Cell. But if they want to add another Hell in a Cell match, that is if. I hope they don't. But if they do, the only other feud that would be worth anybody's time inside Hell in a Cell is Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I don't think they'll go to that point, but if they do, I think that feud deserves it. But right now, it's a one-on-one match, standard one-on-one match. I see a lot of people mentioning Raquel Rodriguez. This certainly opens up the situation for Liv Morgan to possibly retain the championship, even through bad blood. A lot of people are predicting Raquel Rodriguez, who is slated to return to television sometime soon, being aligned with Liv Morgan and rekindling her feud with Rhea Ripley at some point. Does it feel too soon for Liv Morgan to lose that championship? If Rhea gets the championship back now, where do they go? I understand that point of view. But I also understand that it looks like they are running out of gas. It looks like they are sputtering, trying to go into the end zone here. How much more is there to do? What else is there left to say if you're Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dominik Mysterio? The only thing we genuinely need is Rhea Ripley winning the championship and giving Riptide to Dominik Mysterio. That's it. I don't know where they go on from here. Does LWO and Judgment Day begin a feud leading into Survivor Series and War Games? Looks like the men's War Games match is going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. Do they do 2 men's War Games this year and leave out the ladies? I mean, I don't think there's any ladies feud worthy of a War Games at all. I think if you want to do 2 War Games matches, you build up the Bloodline versus Bloodline, and then you build Judgment Day versus LWO. That's what I think you do. But again, I'm not so sure. But I could see both points. Does Liv win and retain? Do we keep this going? Do they have Rhea battle Raquel, then get to Liv? Or do they take the title off Liv, end it, and give the title back to Rhea Ripley? It's going back to Rhea Ripley one way or another. I just don't know when that's going to happen. So I could definitely see both points. Judgment Day. Finn Balor's out there. He's got a microphone in his hand, and we usually don't see Finn Balor cut a live promo in the middle of the ring. Usually saved for special occasions or when he really has something to say. He said Priest says he screwed them. But the truth is Priest screwed the Judgment Day. Balor says he helped Priest up, and as he did that, Priest held him down. He says he was his friend and brother. He says he is the guy who had his back and made sure he stayed champion. He says he should have been world champion a long time ago, if not for Priest lurking behind his back with the briefcase every chance he could take. He said every time he got close to the title, it was Priest who screwed him. He told him to stop hiding in the back because he wants to say all this to his face. Damian Priest came out, and they did get face-to-face. Priest marched out, entered the ring, and he told Balor he's going to let him say what he has to say, and then when he does that and finishes, I'm going to drop your ass right here, right now in Calgary. Balor says he can't tell him what to say anymore because he isn't his sidekick anymore. I ain't no sidekick. Then we got a chant of sidekick from Calgary. He challenged Priest to a match of bad blood. So not only do we get Priest and Balor, we're getting Rhea and Liv. So the Judgment Day saga has a two-parter at Bad Blood. I love it. Plus the feud, both feuds actually, fit the Bad Blood theme. That's what we're going for here. There's no other place where this match between Balor and Priest should take place. Not on Raw, not at a PLE like Saudi. No, Bad Blood fits the bill. So I'm glad that they're doing it there. Fine, I accept, says Balor. He says he's now going to do what he came out here to do. Balor told him he's forgotten one thing. He asked if he remembers the Judgment Day playbook. Priest says, of course I do. I wrote the Judgment Day playbook. Dominik Mysterio, JD McNuggets, and Carlito joined Balor in beating up Damian Priest in a calculated attack. Rhea limped out there on a crutch. Liv Morgan ran out. Ripley took her out with the crutch and then bashed Dominik with it in the aisleway. Liv clipped Rhea's leg from behind, and in the ring, Liv bashed Rhea Ripley with her own crutch. Priest then leapt onto Rhea Ripley to protect her from the attack of the Judgment Day. Liv hit him in the back over and over again. McDonough dragged Priest off of Rhea Ripley. They stretched out Priest as Balor climbed the top rope. And as soon as he was about to deliver the coup de grace, Jey Uso ran out with a chair. Judgment Day fled immediately. Fans chanted yeet, yeet when they saw Jey Uso come and save the day. So there you go. We got Finn Balor and Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan at Bad Blood. I love it. I think that's fantastic stuff. So as of right now, we have 3 matches signed for Bad Blood. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk inside Hell in a Cell. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest in a one-on-one grudge match. And Liv Morgan will defend the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. Standard one-on-one, straight-up championship match. So right then and there, that's 3 matches. I could go on and make 2 more on Monday night. And we'd have an all-timer of a show. And I haven't even included Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight. Again, Bad Blood is looking like an all-timer. Can't wait. Jackie Redmond. She interviewed Braun Strowman. She called this one of the most miraculous stories so far in the IC title tournament. His win last week, being that he got crushed by Bronson Reed on top of a car 2 weeks ago. Braun says, no offense to Miz, but he's no match for him. He said the match last week didn't help his injuries at all. He says it'll take more than that to hold him down. He says he'll show the world what a wounded monster is, and that a wounded monster is even more dangerous. In walked Braun Breaker, who sarcastically acted very shocked at the size of Braun Strowman. Braun is fucking great. Breaker says he is a monster. You don't have to be 7 feet tall to be a monster. He calmly said the reason Strowman is still standing there is because he's never met him in the ring. You don't know who you're talking to, kid, says Strowman. Braun Breaker then says to Braun, I hope you win. You big sob. You big SOB. I like the exchange between these two. I won't be shocked if we get this match one-on-one even after Braun Breaker takes care of Jey Uso. But I knew Strowman wasn't winning this match. I mean, it was telegraphed as such. You just kind of figured that with Bronson Reed out from last week, that he'd show up this week. And that he'd take out Braun Strowman, because that was Bronson Reed's match to win. But he wasn't there last week. He had COVID. In comes Braun Strowman to save the day. He tells Adam Pearce, I want in. Great. He won the match. What did you expect? Bronson Reed to just sit at home and watch Braun Strowman potentially get his Intercontinental Championship match? No way, man. Come on now. We don't do things like that around here, man. But I did like the exchange between Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman. Jade Cargil and Bianca Belair, they defend the women's tag team championships against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. This match went 7 minutes. I mean, if you've seen the last two, you're not surprised about anything that happened here. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire made their entrance. They showed clips of their win to earn this title match, because I'm sure there are so many people that care about them getting another tag team championship match. Oh, man. So it went about 7 minutes, and I was hoping that within the 7 minutes, it wouldn't be just a straight-up tag team match with a clear-cut winner. I was hoping that we get some sort of tease that there is trouble in paradise between Jade Cargil and Bianca Belair. We didn't get any trouble in paradise. And I'm not talking about the hit series with Hulk Hogan, which was one of my favorites. You guys remember Trouble in Paradise with Terry Bollea? It's a great show. I got it on DVD somewhere downstairs in the basement. But yes, there was no trouble in paradise. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill retained the tag team championships. Straight up match. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are as good as finite. They're done. Fire and Dawn gave Belair their double team finish. And Cargill, she breaks up the cover barely to save the day. Fire superkicked Belair, but Jade tagged herself in and booted Fire. Belair and Cargill gave Fire their DDT into a German suplex combo for the 1, 2, 3. Wasn't much of a match. Don't know where we're going with the tag team championships, but they teased Damage Control, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane going after the tag team championships again. Didn't we see these matches over and over and over again? Again, I have to ask, is Jade Cargill where she needs to be in WWE? I don't think so. Is WWE getting a return on their investment with Jade Cargill? I feel like Jade got worse. Not like Tony Khan was doing anything better with her. I mean, she probably would have been in the same position in AEW. That's the sad thing. You look at Jade Cargill here. Yeah, she's working with WWE. Yeah, she's presented as a bigger star. Yeah, she's working with the machine, and she's going on to bigger and better things. She'll probably do Hollywood, and she'll get into TV sitcoms and movies and all this other shit. She was never going to get that in AEW. They didn't have a fucking clue as to how to book Jade Cargill. But I'm talking about specifically pro wrestling. Jade Cargill is no better than when she was in AEW, and if she was in AEW, she'd probably be right where she is right now. She hasn't gotten any better at all. Bianca hasn't made her better. Putting tag team championships on her twice now has not made her better. Yet everybody's clamoring to see Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair in a one-on-one match. I don't know what the fuck she's doing in her off time, but if you're going to book that match, which right now is the speculation from fans that it'll probably be Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, Jade's got a lot of work to do if you want to live up to the WrestleMania hype with a match against Bianca Belair. I just don't see it. These tag team titles are a fucking waste. You know, it's usually the performer that makes the championship. There's literally no woman in this company that is ever going to make those tag team championships relevant again. And I always said it. As soon as you put those titles on Sasha and Bayley, the inaugural champions, as soon as you took those championships that year off of them and put them on the Iconics, the Idiotics, the Moronics, those titles died. They were never the same again. And then after the fiasco with Sasha and Naomi, and the stories that came out of that with them walking away from the company and quitting, I mean, they were dead before that. At that point, they were just like, all right, lower the casket and fucking pour dirt on top of this bitch because it's over. Dead. I would gladly trade these two titles in for two women's mid-card titles. I hope that's the case. We don't need tag team championships in WWE. I'll say it every fucking year. I'll say it every year. Absolutely a waste of time. Jackie Redmond. She interviewed LWO, and they were quickly interrupted by the Judgment Day. I don't know where they're going with this. They seem to always kind of come back to each other, the Judgment Day and the LWO, but it is what it is. She asked Dragon Lee about his match later with Dominik Mysterio. He says he is always ready. Dominik and Dragon Lee. Not the first time that they would be in the ring together. I think Dominik Mysterio took the... Well, who took the belt off of Dominik? Was it Dragon Lee, the North American title? Is that when they took the belt off him? I don't know, man. My NXT history is a little fuzzy the last couple of years. Rey Mysterio says if there's one guy ready, it's Dragon Lee. Ready to go one-on-one with my son. So Judgment Day, don't ever fight alone, but he has backup this week. In walked Judgment Day. Rey said, oh, look, it's the Addams family. Rey and Dom got into a verbal back and forth. Rey told Balor to stop hiding behind his stupid son and face him tonight one-on-one. Balor says, oh, you're on, and you just made a big mistake. Listen, man, I'll take Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio over Dragon Lee and Dominik Mysterio. That's just me. So we got LWO versus Judgment Day tonight. Double dipping. We go on into hour 2. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. They introduce Bret, the Hitman Hart. He's back on Monday Night Raw in Calgary. Bret came out to a loving ovation from the Calgary crowd. He slapped a few hands. He was walking with a limp. He looked like he was pleasantly pleased to be there. Tessitore announced that Canada is getting Survivor Series. Vancouver, in fact, is getting Survivor Series, and tickets go on sale this Friday for the Survivor Series War Games. Love it. Wade Barrett then asked Bret how it felt to be back in Calgary. Bret said, this is the place to be, right? No one took more pride than me being a champion, but also a Canadian champion. He said Canadian champions will never duck a challenge, and they have to prove themselves like he did every night for 20 years. And he did his catchphrase, the best there is, the best there was, and the crowd sang along with it, the best there ever will be. All of a sudden, the world's heavyweight champion, Gunther, comes out. Smile across my face, hearing his music and seeing him come out with Bret Hart in the ring. I'm like, uh-oh. What do we got going on here, man? Gunther said very nice things about Bret Hart, at least at the start. He says it feels like a passing of the torch here between me and Bret. He said Bret was looking at the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. He says he wanted to express something from the bottom of his heart. He said everyone in WWE, and by the way, I have to say that Gunther was heavily booed in this segment. He got major heat. Now, I don't know if that had to do with him interrupting Bret the Hitman Hart, who basically is a fucking hero to these people. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or if people in Calgary just hate Gunther. Whatever it is, I love this heat for Gunther, man. I hope this continues in every city that he's in. I love it. The heat that he gets is fantastic. He wanted to express something from the bottom of his heart. He said everyone in WWE watched Bret growing up, and he has always been a childhood hero to him. You will always be my second favorite all time. A close second behind my all-time favorite, none other than Bill Goldberg, is what he said. Crowd booed, as you would imagine. I was sitting on my couch drinking an espresso, and I audibly laughed out loud for a good 45 seconds at Gunther mentioning Bill Goldberg in a promo with Bret the Hitman Hart making his return to Monday Night Raw. And we all know Bret hates Bill Goldberg. Now, I thought he was going to mention Shawn Michaels, but there's really no issue between Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart. Shawn Michaels works for the WWE now. He's running NXT. I don't think the fans would have hated on the announcement of Shawn Michaels, but Bill Goldberg, I mean, that's the ultimate troll job by Gunther. Gunther is fucking incredible. If you don't know that already, get with the program. This man is fucking fantastic. His smug, over-the-top, cocky, just arrogance is a beautiful thing to see, man. It really is. And the fact that he said that, man, just puts a smile. I love Bret. Bret is a fucking hero of mine, a childhood hero of mine, man. I watch Bret, one of my favorites all time, in my top 5, no doubt about it. I watched Bret wrestle, and I was mesmerized by everything he did. Everything. You talk about excellence of execution. You talk about perfect. You talk about what a pro wrestler should be. It's Bret the Hitman Hart. Absolutely. And Gunther, the fact that he said that to Bret, man, the fans didn't like it, but, man, the heat by mentioning Goldberg was fucking unreal. Sami Zayn walked out. He's wearing a Johnny Gaudreau jersey, and Johnny is the hockey player along with his brother that was tragically killed in a drunk driving incident. He was not behind the wheel. A drunk driver struck both him and his brother, and they both tragically lost their lives. WWE did a fucking fantastic segment on both of them, and they honored both of these guys tonight on Monday Night Raw, showcasing Jackie Redmond, talking about the family, and showcasing outside the stadium where he used to play, fans honoring him in his memory, fans throwing flowers and memorabilia and thank you gifts on the front lawn of the Saddle Dome tonight, man. I actually started to tear up during it, honestly. It was just a fucking classy move. One of the classiest moves that WWE did all year, man. Good on them. And Sami Zayn was wearing his jersey tonight. Sami entered the ring and told Gunther that he's got a lot of nerve talking to Bret like he did. He says he shouldn't make jokes about Bret being a hero. Sami says it's no joke. Bret is a Canadian hero. Bret started to smile. Sami said Bret is a hero to everyone in this city. Sami says he's also a hero to him. He said Bret set the tone for what it means to be a champion. He tells Gunther that he challenged him to a title match, but then he put his tail between his legs and ran away. He told him if he wants to claim he's the best ever, prove it. He emphatically challenged him again for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther laughed and told Sami that he's not in his league. He says as much as he wants to be, and as much as Bret is his hero, he is far away from being in Bret's league. My answer remains no. And Gunther walks away. Bret then gets on the microphone and says, that doesn't look like a champion to me. That looks like a gutless yellow coward. Gunther turned back around to the ring. He took his jacket off because he was upset at what Bret said. Sami went face-to-face with him, asking for the match again. Gunther instead took a swing at Sami. Sami blocked it and ran Gunther into the ring post. And then he punched away at him, and two referees started to pull these guys apart from each other. Sami got in the ring, raised Bret's hand, and that's the way the segment came to a close. I thought this was fantastic stuff. I thought this was great. And I mentioned this last week. You know, a lot of people are probably going to ask, well, Sami getting a championship match doesn't really make sense. He lost the Intercontinental Championship. He got a rematch against Braun Breaker for that Intercontinental Championship after Braun took the title away from him at SummerSlam. They did that 2 out of 3 falls match on Monday Night Raw several weeks ago. Sami comes right back and is automatically challenging Gunther for the World Championship. Where's Sami getting some wins, and why does this make sense? Well, if you look at the top contenders on Monday Night Raw right now, everybody else is tied up. Again, you can attribute that to being a Triple H problem, that they don't have enough top guys on the show for Gunther in this title reign. They absolutely do. That's the thing. They do have top challenges for Gunther. But right now, everybody's tied up. Drew McIntyre's in a feud with CM Punk. CM Punk is a top contender and will be going into Survivor Series. He's inside Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest, I'm sure, wants the championship back. He can't. He's wrestling Finn Balor at Bad Blood. You got Bronson Reed, who's obviously Not in a position to win any world championships right now. He's got Braun Strowman looking down at him. Seth Rollins is injured. He's on the shelf. Chad Gable, he's mixing it up with the Wyatts. I mean, who else is Jey Uso doesn't count. Dragonov is not ready. Sheamus, guess you could do that, right? But they're going with Sami. Sami makes sense. Everybody else is tied up doing something else. Over time, everybody's going to be free and clear to do what they need to do and maybe challenge for the world championship. But there are levels to this. Sami, I am never going to complain about a Sami Zayn and Gunther match at Bad Blood for the World Heavyweight Championship. Their first match at WrestleMania was great. Their first match was fantastic. And the fact that Gunther lost to Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn is one of 3 people who beat Gunther in his entire WWE run. Sami beat him, Braun Breaker beat him, and Ilja Dragunov beat him. Gunther doesn't have many men on this roster that can beat him. Those 3 guys did. So if you're asking me if Sami Zayn and Gunther make sense, I mean, you could argue till you're blue in the face that it doesn't make sense, but I just gave you every top contender on the show that is mixed up with something else. Why not do Sami Zayn? They clearly pivoted from one storyline to another, 2 separate storylines. If you guys remember Sami Zayn and Jey Uso told Sami Zayn, go get your Intercontinental Championship back, and then when you do that, we'll go after the tag team titles and go after the Judgment Day, both Finn Balor and Jade McDonough. That is not a thing anymore, at least for right now. And I said last week on Monday Night Raw, right here on this post show, that Sami is not going to beat Gunther. Nobody's beating Gunther. Jey Uso is not beating Braun Breaker. He's not winning the Intercontinental Championship. So they're going to revisit that tag team title situation. Both Sami and Jey are going to lose individually. They'll come back together and reassess and then realize maybe the 2 of us together are better to get the championships that we so want. I could see them coming back together, winning the tag team championships, going over to SmackDown, aligning themselves with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso, bloodline OG reformed against this new bloodline. Maybe at that point, with the tag team championships on both Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, we get, keeping my fingers crossed, this is how I would do it, a unification of the tag team titles. Because the Tongans, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, have those tag team championships. Why the fuck not? That's what I would do. So, yeah, you could sit there and argue till you're blue in the face that Sami Zayn doesn't deserve a championship match against Gunther, that Sami Zayn and Gunther creatively doesn't make sense. Why is JD saying this is a good thing, and if it happened on AEW, it would be a bad thing? Because things make a lot more sense on WWE television than they do on AEW television. Do they make sense all the time? No. No, they don't. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't make sense, because it certainly does. On AEW television, you put Sheeta and Mercedes in a fucking match, or Mercedes in a match against Sheeta after losing to Britt Baker. I mean, that shit doesn't make sense. So I don't mind it whatsoever, because I know where it's going, and I know where it potentially is going to lead. So we'll see what happens. We'll let it play out. Backstage, Braun Breaker walked up to Pete Dunne. He walked up to everybody that was in this main event tonight. He asked him what he used to call himself, and Pete Dunne said, please, don't call me by that name. So Braun, this is another thing I laughed at very audibly. He's like, okay, Pete. Called him Pete. Okay, Pete. Dunne says he'll win tonight and then go on to beat Braun Breaker. First, he's going to beat Trick. Then he's going to beat Braun. And he's going to be a double champion when he beats Braun, because at that point, he will have the NXT title. False. He said in the end, he'll be wondering what just happened to him and admitted he's badass, asking why the dogs are barking so loud in Canada. Good luck. Sheamus jumped in. He attacked Dunne from behind. As soon as Braun Breaker left, officials pulled him off. And then Dunne fled. Sheamus smiled and smashed a shillelagh against the wall. So his issues with Pete, are not done yet. Dominik Mysterio is out there with Finn Balor, JD McFish, Carlito, and Liv Morgan against Dragon Lee, who had Rey Mysterio, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro in his corner. So more LWO and Judgment Day shenanigans here. This was Dragon Lee's first singles match since June, where he lost to Carlito. Oh, man. You got to get your win back, bro. You lost to Carlito. So we pick it up here. Dragon Lee hits Dominik with a double foot stomp as Dominik is hung up in a tree of woe. But McDonough is on the outside. As soon as he sees Dragon Lee make the cover on Dominik after the double foot stomp, he puts Dominik's foot on the rope to get a break. This led to a brawl between the two teams on the outside. They fought to the back up the aisleway. The referee was distracted by this, and the referee looks so fucking stupid. I mean, how stupid does the referee look, bro? All of these guys, both factions are brawling up the aisleway, and they're slowly disappearing up the aisleway and into Gorilla, right? You got the referee in this match yelling at them to stop. He's in the ring, leaning through the ropes, yelling at them to stop, like they could fucking hear him with everything else going on in the arena, like they would listen to him anyway. Why is it that these promotions make all these referees look fucking stupid? I don't get it. So the referee's distracted. Liv Morgan shot blocked Dragon Lee in the ring. This allowed Dominik to hit a 619 and a frog splash. And while he did the frog splash, he blew a kiss to Liv Morgan. Lucky him. 1, 2, 3. Dominik beats Dragon Lee. His first singles match since June, where he lost to Carlito. Dragon Lee is still a loser. Nice to know. Thanks for coming. Io Sky. She was with Kairi Sane. They approached Bianca Belair and Jade Cargil. Sky congratulated them on winning, but told them not to get used to being champions. Kairi had a bandage over her eyebrow, and she got busted open hard way last week, so she was selling the effects of that. And it looks like we have our next two ladies who are getting a tag team championship opportunity. Fantastic. Wake me when it's over. Sonya Deville. She's out there with Pure Garbage Collective. She's in the ring with her ladies. She has a microphone. Lyra Valkyria makes her entrance. Zelina Vega makes her entrance. But she interrupted Lyra's entrance. She said, yeah, I know your entrance is real cute and yeah, it's really important to you. But she goes on to make fun of her and says they keep trying and failing. I don't know. Is Lyra failing? Sounds like Pure Garbage Collective is failing. Nobody gives a shit. She asks, what would be so different this week? So Sonya mocked them having a mystery partner. She said they and their partner will suffer the same fate as them. Whoever is back there, if you exist, if you want to step up, shoot your shot. Or at least she didn't make fun of the men in the audience tonight, saying that they don't have a chance. Who was it, folks? Who was it? Oh, man, if you guessed Natalya, you win nothing. Natalya's music played, and she comes on out. Oh, man, Natalya, man. Oh, hopefully you guys got your pillow. Hopefully you guys got your pillow from Bed Bath & Beyond, man. Nice 7-minute nap. This went 7 minutes. Did anything important come out of this match, chat? No. No, it did not. Go to commercial break. We come back from the break. Natalya makes a hot tag. She went for a sharpshooter on Zoe, but her teammates pulled her out of the ring. Vega and Bird Girl wiped them out, and Natalya went for the sharpshooter again. Deville and Baszler tried to interfere again, but Vega put Deville in a Walls of Jericho, and Lyra put Baszler in Lance Storm's single-leg crab. I guess they were going for the Canadian connection here. Natalya locked Stark in a sharpshooter. She tapped out, and the crowd popped for the sharpshooter tap out. Great. Fantastic, man. Pure bedroom collection. Puts another audience to sleep on Monday Night Raw. Showed Natalya backstage after the match was over with Lyra and Vega. Bret hugged Natalya. Natalya put over Bret, but Bret wanted to make sure she knew this moment was for her. Aww. Great. Great. Maybe Natalya will now go back into semi-retirement. Fantastic. Drew McIntyre. He's out there, but we got no CM Punk tonight. It's just Drew. Just Drew. Check on the chat. We got 2,100 people on YouTube. Thank you guys very much for joining me. How's my Twitch family doing? We got 23 viewers on Twitch, man. Yeah, I'm really lighting the world on fire over there, man. Oh, shit. Twitch, how you doing, bro? Thank you guys for hanging out with me on your Monday night. Good stuff over there, as always. Drew McIntyre. Drew mocked Punk for bragging that he beat him in a strap match. First, he gets welcomed to Calgary with chants of CM Punk, CM Punk. He's like, all right, keep it going, man. I know you want to chant his name, man. It doesn't bother me because from now on, when they chant his name, it's in memory of CM Punk. He mocked Punk for bragging that he beat him in a strap match, mocking that the fact all he did was touch four corners to win. He didn't pin me. He said just because he's the best at touching four corners in a row, he thought he was done with me. It's good enough to win a championship match? Get a championship match? Come on, man. I don't think so, you arrogant prick, he said. Drew says he's been talking about Punk since January. He made Punk a bigger star. And he has to live with that. But that's okay because he's known for ending his career. He said, now it's time to talk about himself. He says he could talk about being cheated out of the world title over and over and over again. He says his first movie comes out this week that includes the animal, Dave Bautista, called The Killer's Game. Drew turned to the announce desk and said he had some bad news, wink, wink, that concerned Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett looked up at him. Drew says that Barrett and him have been friends for decades. We've been arrested together. Says Barrett defended him when Michael Cole was spreading lies about him. He asked why he stepped in his way last week when he tried to end CM Punk. He says he's not angry. He's disappointed at Wade Barrett. So Drew stepped out of the ring, walked towards the announce desk, and warned Wade Barrett that if he does it again, he won't be disappointed. He'll be angry. And if he's angry, he'll do something about it. Wade Barrett took off his headset and stood up. Wade Barrett had some words for Drew McIntyre, words that we did not hear. Curious to know what he said. Adam Pearce walks out at this point and says, enough, enough, enough. He asked Drew if he wants to fight Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's he's been the voice of reason, and now you want to fight him? Have you completely lost the plot? He told him he doesn't really want to fight Wade Barrett. He told Drew he has some information he needs to hear, so leave Wade Barrett alone and get in the ring. Drew says he was talking to his friend, man to man. You're not my friend, Pierce. You're nothing more than a corporate suit. He said earlier today he spoke to CM Punk, and Punk is not done despite what you, Drew, think, says Adam Pearce. He said Punk isn't done with him. Drew McIntyre says, I don't believe you. Drew says if it's true, and that's a huge if, he's signing his death certificate. Pearce said he thought it was over after the strap match, but because of what Drew did, it's not over. He says they will fight again at Bad Blood. He says when it's over, he will find peace. He said at Bad Blood, he'll face Punk inside Hell in a Cell. Joe Tessitore said, "Oh, let's go." On commentary, Drew watched as Adam Pearce left the ring, and he just sat there with the damning news that he is inside Hell in a Cell on October 5th with CM Punk in Atlanta, Georgia. We all knew this was coming. Right out of Clash of the Castle, you knew from there it was coming. Then WWE made the announcement that they were bringing Bad Blood back. You knew it. It was confirmed without being confirmed with that news. That WWE was bringing back and reprising Bad Blood on October 5th in Atlanta. This is going to be the finale of Punk and McIntyre. I don't know what's going to happen inside the cage. I don't. My first question is, will Punk survive? I don't know. Punk has managed to stay healthy since being back. Great for him. He looked really, really good in the strap match at Bash in Berlin. But wrestling inside a Hell in a Cell and doing the things that need to be done to make it a Hell in a Cell. Now, I don't know if they're going to go to those extents. I don't know if they're going to go to those lengths, but you know, you look at Adam Page and Swerve Strickland inside a basic steel cage match and the story that they told. You know, it's two different stories, but at the same time, they have very similar trajectories. Adam Page burned down Swerve Strickland's house. Everything that happened in that steel cage match at All Out needed to happen. Some may say that it wasn't violent enough. There were problems with people who watched that match. Fans on social media, Karens, Gen Zers out there who just live in this pussified environment, this day and age where, oh my God, blood. Oh my God, violence. Oh my God, how could they? Oh my God, needles, steel chairs, cinder blocks. Where did we as pro wrestling fans go wrong? That's what I want to know. Like, you can honestly tell which generation we grew up in and which generation they grew up in. You know, one of my favorite matches ever is Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome at the 2005 ECW One Night Stand. Tremendous match. The chair shots that Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome took in that match still ring out in my fucking brain. And every time I go back and rewatch that show or rewatch that match or see clips of what they did in that match, it makes me fucking cringe. I grew up with that shit. I grew up with barbed wire death matches, Mick Foley and Terry Funk, Sabu. I grew up with the ECW and the sex that it sold on television and the violence that they sold on television. The carefree, nonchalant ways they went about lighting people on fire and absolutely decimating their bodies. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. People today, if that version of ECW lived on today on TNN or wherever it was airing, late night, I basically had to hide in my room with the door closed, with the television on very, very minimal volume so my mom didn't catch us watching it. I used to buy and sell ECW tapes because I was so addicted to getting more ECW. Imagine that version of ECW now. These Gen Zers can't take a little violence. It's no different than a movie that you watch. It's no different. Imagine watching a Michael Myers flick, a Halloween movie, or a Friday the 13th movie, and you see Jason Voorhees going around and fucking handing flowers to his victims. Here you go. Imagine Jason Voorhees using a fucking plastic knife and you know, mock stabbing somebody, and then you see someone just fucking fall down and they're all bloodied and they're dying. Do we need to go back and change everything that once was great to pussify it in 2024 because people nowadays, people in today's day and age can't handle a little fucking violence? Do you go out there and criticize movies that you watch for a violent scene like a Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger or whatever is going on nowadays? Could be a car scene, could be Final Destination type shit. Do you go out there and cry and look to cancel and start petitions because your favorite movie had a violent, bloody scene or a rape scene or something that was depicted off of something that actually happened in real life and they made it into a feature film? Are you out there fucking protesting? Why do pro wrestling fans go to the lengths to showcase how fucking stupid they are? Honestly. I don't really get it. Why is it that pro wrestling is always under the microscope? You know, I've been very critical of AEW. Very critical. Valid criticisms. I got a reputation now. I had a reputation for 3.5 years of being on Tony Khan's payroll. Can't do no wrong to JD. He's definitely being paid by Tony Khan. I'm a shill, I'm a mark, I'm this, I'm that. Now, all those same people, they clip me out of context. They claim I'm a Triple H, Paul Levesque shill now. I'm a WWE stan. I'm a pedophile, whatever the fucking case may be. These people are mental. All because I have valid and constructed criticism about their favorite show that they don't think anything's wrong with. AEW has been very good, and I've said so. When they are, I've said so. When they're bad, I say so. And I call out the bad, I call out the good. I don't see what was so wrong about Saturday night. I don't. You know, if you actually watch the show, which I'm hearing all these criticisms about the show, it almost comes off as if you didn't watch the show. It comes off as these people not watching the show. It comes off in one of two ways. One, you're seeing clips and you wanted to go out there and project your hatred and your negativity and your cancel culture on something that you genuinely have no fucking idea about to look cool because you got a blue check mark and you're looking to engagement farm and you're looking to express something in this fake hatred demeanor, this fake outrage. Oh, I need something to really show them I care about today. I need to make a scene on social media today because I have nothing else going on in my life. That's what it came off to me as. Fake outrage. You clearly didn't watch the show. You saw a clip. You don't know what's going on between Adam Page and Swerve Strickland because if you did, you would have realized that the match that they had on Saturday night, everything in that match was necessary. Everything in that match needed to be there. In fact, in my honest opinion, it wasn't violent enough. No, but we're going to cancel AEW because there was cinder blocks, and there was a hypothermic needle, and there was a wooden stake from the burned home of Swerve Strickland. Oh, my God. Have we really pussified ourselves as a pro wrestling community? That's what I want to know. You know, I've said time and time and time again that AEW, year over year over year, for the last 3 years, is moving further and further and further away from being the alternative. Some of that is true. It was easy to be the alternative against Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Tony Khan had an easy time, a walk in the park to book a mediocre show and have it look like a fucking 10 out of 10 show against what Vince McMahon was putting on television. He's not so lucky nowadays with Triple H running the show. How could you be the alternative when the alternative is running WWE now? But AEW can still be the alternative in some way, shape, or form by doing things like this. What I appreciate most about AEW is that they are allowed to do this. They can do this. They don't have to answer to shareholders and suits and ties. Tony Khan wants his performers to go out there and blur the lines of reality for a storyline and use hypothermic needles and cinder blocks and fire and murder. So be it. He can do that and do it to his heart extent, or his heart's content, to the extent of which he can push the envelope as much as he can. And he's an old school ECW head. He loved ECW. But I don't understand where the criticism comes from that it was too much. Did you watch the feud? Did you see match 1 lead into match 2, lead into match 3 in the triple threat match, and now this is unofficially match 3 between them, match number 4? Have you seen what happened? Have you been following along? Clearly you haven't. Because if you did, you wouldn't be asking fucking stupid questions. If you have seen what they've been doing, petitions to cancel them wouldn't be on social media. And you wouldn't be crying like a fucking bitch. Fact. This is no different than your fucking TV show that you watch, weekly episodic. There's no different than a fucking movie you go pay fucking $25 to go see on premiere night. This is a scripted show. These are trained professionals. Do you genuinely think they use real props? Do you genuinely think that was a real cinder block in the ring? Do you think that Chris Statlander was hit with a fucking legit light tube on Saturday night? Ask yourselves these questions. This is no different than watching Negan bash the skulls in of fucking Glenn and Abraham in the beginning of season 7 for The Walking Dead. These are trained professionals. It is all an act. Yet you're out there crying that the show should be fucking canceled because you're a bitch. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You know, people tell me that every fucking week. Oh, JD, if you hate AEW, don't watch. I don't hate AEW. I don't hate AEW. You just hate criticism. You can't listen to a guy who has his head on straight, who can decipher what is good and what is bad, because you live in this fake reality where everything's got to be sunshine and fucking Denise Salcedo. I'm sorry, if you want to go watch Pussy, go watch Denise Salcedo. If you want to watch Real, you watch JD from NY. If you want to watch people blow smoke up your ass, you go watch someone like that. If you want violence, if you want blurring the reality, if you want shit that is truly the alternative in pro wrestling, then you'll watch AEW when they produce cinematic television like Swerve and Adam Page. I don't really understand the outrage. Was the needle needed? No. Did the chair shot need to be the way that they did? Yes, it did. Would you rather him pull a fucking gun out? The only part that really got me, the chair shot. I don't like the chair shot. The chair shot to the head, we shouldn't be doing that in 2024. No matter a shaved chair shot, a regular chair shot, a fucking gimmick chair, it all hurts. I genuinely care about these people. I welcome them into my home every single week on television. So I genuinely care about their well-being. I don't want to see anybody die on my television. We've been through that enough. The suffocation part from Jon Moxley, I mean, listen, I don't know where it's going. I don't know why Jon Moxley decided to suffocate Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag. If you ask Bryan, he probably fucking requested it. Sick motherfucker. But we don't know where it's going. Is it hokey? Is it cringy? To you, it may be. But you don't have to watch. You didn't pay $50 for the pay-per-view to watch what we watched on Saturday night. And if you did to just hate on it, Tony Khan says thank you, bro. Minus the pay-per-view fees and whatever fees go to third parties, I'm making out with a nice 70%. Thanks, bro. I hope you do that every fucking time. But clearly some people didn't watch this, and clearly some people paid to simply hate on AEW. Just like people hate and watch me at the same time. And then will clip me out of context. Because my name in the title, my name in the description, my video on your fucking platform or on social media, on YouTube, on TikTok is going to generate interest. What does JD have to say now? Fuck JD from NY. But I still watch him. Because he's a controversial figure who makes a lot of sense, and it's cool to hate on JD from NY, just like it's cool to hate on AEW. Thing is, I'm not an AEW hater. I love AEW. This is not an instance. This is not a situation where we hate on AEW. What they did was great on Saturday. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If that's not your type of content, then don't consume that type of content. If you're a parent who had a child in the arena, if you were a parent that had young children sitting in attendance, they already told you that it was going to be an unsanctioned match. They abided by all their rules. Lights out. They even said it. Whatever happens in this match, AEW is not responsible for, per storyline. But if you're a child and you have a son or children who are getting to that age, who want to watch pro wrestling, I'll take my guy, Andrew Baydala. He's a prime example. Great father. He made his sons, and you could go to his social media. This is not me blowing smoke up his ass or hyping him up for no reason. You could legitimately go to his social media and look at the picture he posted with him and his son watching All Out on Saturday night. He let his son watch Will Ospreay and Pac, which was an unbelievable match on Saturday night. Unbelievable. Drew said his son was mesmerized by the end of that match because of the sheer athleticism and performance that both Will Ospreay and Pac showcased on Saturday night. See, Drew is a good father because Drew knows exactly what to expect with AEW. If it's safe enough for his son to watch, Drew will allow his son to watch. Drew knew what was going to be with Swerve and Adam Page. Do you think Drew let his son watch Swerve and Adam Page on Saturday night? First of all, it was too late. And second, no. So if you're a father to a child or children who want to get into pro wrestling, it is up to you to make the educated decision to not allow your kids to consume that type of product until they are of age. And if they do consume, and if you do sit down with them to watch that type of content, then it is up to you, the parent, because I know I would do the same thing, to educate them on what they are watching. Step by step, why we got here, why this is that, why they're not dead, why it's violent the way that it is. It is up to you. You can't go out there and blindly say, rage, cancel, this gotta be canceled. No. It's not Tony Khan's responsibility for how you parent your fucking children. Is this going to affect AEW's TV deal? No. The only thing that's going to affect AEW's TV deal is AEW, Tony Khan, and what he's done to drastically drive interest down. That's what's going to harm AEW's TV deal. Did you see wooden stakes burned being driven into Swerve's head on Dynamite? No. Did you see Bryan Danielson suffocating with a plastic bag by Jon Moxley on Dynamite? No. Did you see Swerve stapling Adam Page's chest with pictures of his family on Dynamite? No. Did you see cinder blocks on Dynamite? No. Did you see the chair shot on Dynamite? No. We saw the chair shot on Dynamite with Jack Perry inside Blood and Guts. But nobody had a problem when Darby Allin basically doused Jack Perry with fucking gasoline and was about to light him on fire. Nobody had a problem with that, though. Nobody had a problem with that. Nobody had a problem with Nick Gage and the pizza cutter incident, right? Oh, that was cool. That was risque, right? No, but we got a problem with what Swerve and Page did to sell the effects of their storyline. I don't know about you, but if someone burned my fucking house down in arson and broke into my fucking home and burned my house down because he fucking hated me, there'd be death somewhere. I don't know how we got to this point. I don't know how we got to this point as a pro wrestling community. I really don't. Of all the things you're complaining about coming off of AEW television, it is legitimately their best storyline ever that you're complaining about. That's the fucked up thing. That's what I don't understand. This is their best storyline in their 5 years, and you're complaining about it. It is mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me. The whole point I wanted to try and make here, the reason why I went on this spiel, is because Drew McIntyre and CM Punk is similar to what Page and Swerve are doing. Not to the extent of arson and murder. One's over a bracelet, one's over family, the other's over family and the World Championship, and vanquishing someone so that the other party can get to where they need to be. WWE's never they're never going to go to the lengths of arson and fucking fire and that type of brutality. But WWE needs some of that for Hell in a Cell. WWE needs some of that to reignite the reason why Hell in a Cell exists. I'm not saying we need Mick Foley Undertaker type shit where someone's got to fucking die off the top of the cage. I'm not saying that. But they need to take this as far as WWE can. I don't expect there to be what we saw inside the steel cage. WWE will sterilize their match the way they need to. It'll be the WWE way to do things. There'll be a little blood. There'll be chairs and kendo sticks and trash cans and all the typical tricks of the trade for a WWE no DQ match. But this is not just any no DQ match. This is not any feud. This has been building up since January. We're in October now. It needs to fit the bill. And if someone does go off the side of the cage, I could see something, because I know Drew had gone off the side of the cage at one point in one of his Hell in a Cell matches. I could see them reliving and redoing the spot that Shawn Michaels did in 1997 where he was hanging off the cage. He wasn't that high up and he fell through the table. I could see them doing that. That I would take. It's got to be worthy of it being inside Hell in a Cell. But WWE is never going to give you anything to complain about. They're not. They're not going to have people petitioning to cancel them. They're not going to have people calling for Triple H's fucking termination over what had happened at Hell in a Cell. They're never going to do that because they're a publicly traded company and they have an image to uphold to sponsors. Tony Khan has sponsors. Does he care about all of his sponsors? Is Tony Khan going to make more money in advertising revenue through sponsors? I don't know. None of it happened on Dynamite, so I don't really think anything is going to be in jeopardy. It happened on pay-per-view. You paid premium price to watch two guys brutalize each other. But Hell in a Cell needs to be violent. Violent in a WWE way. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll take us by surprise. Maybe they'll shock us. We'll see. I'm excited for it. And it's an all-timer. It's going to be an all-timer. This show is shaping up to be one of the best WWE shows of the entire year. Karrion Kross, he was backstage with The Miz. He pitched to The Miz that he can help him out of his current losing streak. Xavier Woods walked in and asked what he was up to. Kross said he was just having a friendly conversation and he wished him luck with the Kofi situation. Kross walked away. Xavier says he shouldn't listen to him. Miz says he's in a rut and everyone thinks he's going to get destroyed by Bronson Reed. Xavier said, everyone knows you're the man around here. You defended the title against John Cena at WrestleMania. I don't believe this is his, like, coup de grace, right? I main evented WrestleMania with John Cena. I mean, you got nothing else to hang your hat on? Miz says he doesn't understand, and he stormed off. Kofi asked Xavier why he's rocking that boo-boo face. They laughed, and they did New Day type shtick. Kofi told Xavier he got them a match for the tag team titles. Xavier said last time they talked, he thought they were going into singles titles, but now they have a chance to walk into their 10th anniversary as a team as the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be in the tag team division. I don't know if we see a breakup. Maybe that's still in the works, minus Odyssey Jones, being that he got fired from the company, but we'll see what happens. Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor, they went one-on-one. Mysterio wins by disqualification in 8 minutes. He mounted a comeback, did Rey, after a commercial break. Slingshotted himself onto Balor at ringside. He followed with a seated senton, 619 to the abdomen of Balor. He then set up a regular 619, but Balor caught his legs and then catapulted him throat first into the top rope. Balor applied a half Boston Crab in the ropes. He didn't break the 5 count, and the referee DQ'd Finn Balor, and Rey Mysterio wins by DQ. After the match, Balor looked very satisfied with his work. He kicked Rey off the ring apron. Referees ordered him to get back. He charged back and knocked Rey off the apron. So, Balor, they're making Balor look strong, and Balor look like he's out for blood because of the announced match with Damian Priest and Finn Balor at Bad Blood. That's all that this was. And Rey Mysterio was a casualty here. Don't know where we go with the Judgment Day and LWO. It is far from over. Should be over, but it's far from over. Jackie Redmond interviewed Ilja Dragonov. He was backstage with Jackie Redmond, and she asked what his mindset was. He said now he faces Jey Uso, Pete Dunne, and Braun Strowman, so he has to dig deep to survive. He says he wants the prize at the end of the tournament and settle unfinished business with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker walked in and says, listen, we don't have unfinished business because I've already beat you. He says if he wins, he'll just beat him again. Jey walked up, eyed Braun Breaker up and down, and walked away. Jey said, Jey Uso is now in your city. And he said, hit my music. Comes out to yeet, makes his entrance. And we are underway. Braun Strowman, Pete Dunne, Jey Uso, and Ilja Dragunov for the Intercontinental Championship. This is number 1 contendership for the Intercontinental Championship match against Braun Breaker. When, where, that, we don't know. Before we got to the main event, there was a vignette with the Judgment Day backstage. Love these vignettes. Balor talked about what he did to Priest earlier. Liv said what happened tonight won't be close to what happens at Bad Blood. McDonough says they haven't forgotten about the New Day either, and the tag division belongs to them. Carlito did his signature, and that is cool. Wade Barrett plugged NXT. Street Profits will be challenging Axiom and Nathan Frazier for the NXT Tag Team titles. Tessator plugged New Day challenging Balor and McDonough next week on Raw. Also, CM Punk makes his return to Monday Night Raw next week. Hopefully we get a pipe bomb in regards to what McIntyre has done and said since, and with the announcement of Hell in a Cell. By the way, if you want Tag Team of the Year, look no further than Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Love those guys. Dragonov. We pick it up after the first commercial break here. This was a great main event. I thought this was really, really good. Strowman fought off everyone after a break. Dunne tried manipulating Strowman's fingers, so Strowman picked him up and threw him out of the ring onto Jay and Dragonov. So Strowman fought everyone off. Jay dodged the charge, and he went shoulder first into the ring post. They teamed up on Strowman again moments later and drove him into the steel steps. Dunne shoved Jay into the ring post and went after Dragonov, but Dragonov started to fight back. Dragonov tried for a coast-to-coast, but Jay caught him midair with a super kick out of nowhere and got a very close near fall out of it. Crowd started to chant yeet, and we go into a second and final commercial break. Dragonov got the better of an exchange with Jay. Jay hit a clothesline. Dunne broke up the cover. Dunne snapped Dragonov's fingers, but Strowman knocked Dunne aside before running over all three guys around ringside. He didn't really get Jey Uso with the Strowman Express. It looked like he just kind of tapped him, but he ran through the other two guys. Strowman cleared the announce desk, and I don't know what he was planning on doing, but all of a sudden, Bronson Reed, fucking Godzilla himself, King Kong, he jumped onto the barricade, and Braun Strowman had his back turned. Braun Strowman turned around, and Bronson Reed jumped on top of Braun Strowman and put him through the announce table with a big frog splash off the barricade. This was timed perfectly. I mean, if you guys want another match for Bad Blood, there you go. Crowd chanted, holy shit, which was bleeped out by USA Network. I don't understand why we're going into the 11 o'clock hour and we're still bleeping out holy shit chants on USA Network. Really? This took Strowman out of the match. Dragonov and Jay exchanged strikes until Jay nailed a very good, this was the best looking spear that Jey Uso hit. Dunne shucked Jay from the ring, tried to steal the pin, but Dragonov kicked out. Crowd chanted this was awesome. Pete Dunne stomped on the fingers of Dragonov, kicked him in the head repeatedly. Dragonov countered Dunne's bitter end, hit a powerbomb, and then he hits the H-bomb. Jay broke up the cover with the super kick. Jay hit Dunne with the Uso splash, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso and Ilja Dragunov were the only two that made sense in this match. Pete Dunne was not going to wrestle Braun Breaker, and neither was Braun Strowman, because we all knew that Bronson Reed was going to show face and take him out. Especially after Bronson Reed was taken out of last week's match to include Braun Strowman. We all knew that Bronson Reed was going to come back and say, fuck no to Braun Strowman. Jey Uso made the most sense. Just like I mentioned before, Jey Uso's not beating Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn's not beating Gunther. They will both lose individually, only to come back and win the tag team titles together. That's where they're going with this. Braun entered the ring after the match was over, had to stare down with Jay, and the show went off the air. This was a very good Raw. You know, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. They pushed Bad Blood. Bad Blood's looking like an all-timer. I don't know. Listen, WWE has this thing about putting big matches on Raw and big matches on SmackDown. And a lot of these pay-per-views have been very Raw heavy. Very. SummerSlam was Raw heavy. Bash in Berlin was Raw heavy. Scotland, Clash of the Castle was very Raw heavy. We need to mix it up a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, man, Bad Blood's looking like an all-timer. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, main event, Hell in the Cell. That is your major match coming off Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship should happen at Bad Blood. Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso for the Intercontinental Championship should happen at Bad Blood. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship, and Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Those are your 5 matches coming off Monday Night Raw. And tapped into reserve, if you want to look at whatever else is happening on Monday Night Raw, we still got Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. We have that match. We have Sheamus versus Pete Dunne as well. Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable, potentially. But those are the 5 big matches on Monday Night Raw. And then if you look at SmackDown, Cody, I don't know if Cody's going to be defending the World Championship, the WWE Championship at Bad Blood. You would think he would. But they're doing Cody and Solo inside a steel cage on Friday on the season premiere of SmackDown. I think we either get Cody versus KO, Cody versus Randy, or we get Cody and Roman teaming up, because Roman's going to be on Friday. He's absolutely going to be in that steel cage match, some way, shape, or form. Cody and Roman teaming up against Solo and Jacob Fatu. And then maybe LA Knight versus either Andrade or Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship. 7 matches right there, man. Bad Blood should be 7 matches. And if that is Bad Blood, you're looking at maybe the best WWE pay-per-view of the entire year. Honestly. That's a solid fucking card, man. Great show. I thought this was a very good Raw. Set up Bad Blood very nicely. We got a lot of major shit happening on tonight's show. We got the Monday Night Raw announcement moving to 2 hours starting October 7th. Love it. Love it. Thank you guys very much for all your support tonight. Tonight we're powered by Magic Mind. I don't know about you guys, man. I don't know how you start your morning routine, but my morning routine is this little magic bottle right here. Open it up. In this case, I take my favorite sparkling beverage, and boom, look at that. Yeah, yeah. That's it. Shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey, you turn yourself about. That's what it's all about right there. Magic Mind gets the job done. Before I have my coffee in the morning, Magic Mind is consumed. Always. And I want to give you guys the chance to feel the magic from Magic Mind. MagicMind.com/JD from NY. You guys sign up, use that promo code JD from NY. You're going to get 20% off a one-time purchase, which is a great deal. Or if you guys want to sign up for a subscription, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's delicious. And if I use it, you guys should certainly be using it as well. If you sign up for a subscription, you're going to get 48% off. 48% off, up to 48% off with a subscription. Using that promo code JD from NY. Say goodbye to feeling amped up and hello to feeling dialed in, man. The jitters. Caffeine gives me the jitters, man. It's starting to give me the jitters. I don't like feeling that way anymore. I'm trying to cut back on the caffeine. You guys take some Magic Mind. You're going to have a sharper mind, less stress, stronger motivation, better energy. I take it every day, man. I feel all these things, plus some. For sharper mind, they got that lion's mane mushroom. For energy, they got that ceremonial matcha, B2, B3, and B12 vitamins. And for less stress, which is always a good thing, I could use it. They got that turmeric and vitamin C and vitamin D3. It's best enjoyed chilled, or like me, you could put it in your favorite sparkling beverage and you're off to go, man. So if you guys don't want to feel the jitters, if you don't want to crash midday like I used to do, I love my midday naps, man, don't get me wrong, but it stops the momentum during the day. It stops the workflow during the day. Magic Mind is where it's at, bro. Sign up. Use that promo code JD from NY. MagicMind.com/JD from NY. 20% off one-time purchase. 48% off a subscription. Tonight, we're powered by the magic of Magic Mind. Follow me on social media. At JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And please, go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. Shorts channel's doing very well. If you guys are not subscribed to the Shorts channel, make sure you go do that. At JD from NY Shorts. Link down below in the description. And tomorrow night, Jason, the Solomonster, and I will be live for Tuesday Night Titans, man. Should be a good one. Super chats are open. If you guys want to get them on in, it is not too late. Main Event 81 with 22 months. Thank you, brother. House of Black, VS, MXM Collection is a garbage match. It's a shame how they doing the House of Black. AEW's tag team division is pathetic. I don't get it. Not today, Jay, with 24 months. Happy 24 months, JD. Finally have that golden mic. You have impacted my life more than you will ever know. Here's to you. Love you, buddy. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that very much, man. I got James with 32 months. A few more months to go until I gain my strap. Much love to all my OTS fam, and RIP to the voice of Lord Vader and the greatest voice of my generation. James Earl Jones passed away today, man. Happy to have you here, James. And yes, RIP to Mr. Earl Jones. 93 years old, bro. I had a troll on social media wish me death in order to bring James Earl Jones back from the dead. Yeah. Real facts. Someone said, take JD from NY instead and give me back James Earl Jones. Unbelievable. All over pro wrestling, man. Joseph Taylor with a $2 super chat. My favorite Bret match was Undertaker, SummerSlam, 1997. Yeah, it's a great one. It's one of my favorites, too. Best Bret Hart match, to me, is the 1993 King of the Ring with Mr. Perfect. MGM Bowling with a $4.99. Let's capitalize on halftime. Pure garbage collection. That'll keep eyes on the show away from football, right? Maybe me, actually, because the Jets look bad. I don't know, man. I'm not a football guy, so I couldn't care a single shit less. Michelle with a $2 super chat. Punk Drew Hell in a Cell, a feast to rival Thanksgiving. Demeter Bullion having tea with my TMNT. And Rocky on Raw with a $7.99. Hell in a Cell with CM Funky is like having soy sauce and Nanny's jam donuts. It's great. Bree, the Hitman Hart, and Nanny be making Poppy a cuck. Same with Jericho G. Listen, man, you gotta have your tea with your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, brother. DC with 29 months. JD, I was at Raw tonight and they cut to Sammy's entrance too early. We had a fuck Bill Goldberg chant just starting. Still a great segment. Yeah, I'm disappointed, man. I didn't hear that fuck Bill Goldberg chant. Not like it would bleep through USA Network anyway. They'd probably bleep it out. DC with 29 months. Thank you, brother. Ricardo Linnell with 49 months. Oh, my goodness. What's this? A banger show on the night of the season premiere Monday Night Football? Fuck Vince McMahon. Triple H is in charge. Hashtag OTS for life. Oh, yeah. Robert Hurt with 42 months. Hey, JD, have you heard anything on Cora Jade? No. I have not. Cora's got me blocked. How the fuck do I know? Studa Beats with a $10 super chat. Very good show tonight. Excited for Bad Blood. Wish they saved Hell in a Cell announcement for next week for Punk to say it, though. Also, prayers out to Swerve's family. Adam, how could you? Hashtag OTS for life. Sidro with 24 months. He says, man walks into a magic forest and tries to cut down a tree. You can't cut me, says the tree. I'm a talking tree. Man says, you will dialogue. You're crazy, Sidro. Also, $5 with Sidro. Yesterday, I couldn't figure out whether someone was waving at me or the guy behind me. And other news, I lost my lifeguarding job. Aren't lifeguarding jobs out of season now? Why would he be waving at you from the ocean, bro? Very weird. Triple M, 14 months. Raw, finally 2 hours. It should stay that way. RIP, legend title. Looting engrams in the Skywatch as a chore. Back to Salvation's Edge at 45 clears. I have 0 clears, bro. 0 clears. Sidro with a $5 super chat. Give a man a fish, and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he will sit in a boat and drink beer all day. P.S. Raw's been fire. I am more so the guy that will be not on the boat, but on the dock or the pier drinking beer from afar. I don't do water. I don't do fish. I don't do fishing. Not my cup of tea. Willis, 720 with a $31 super chat. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, brother. Did you get the Twitter troll voice from Andrew Dice Clay? Yes, I did. Also, thoughts on Logan Paul being Money in the Bank 2025 and cashing in on John Cena after he beats Gunther at SummerSlam. I don't think we need the WWE Championship held hostage again. We've already been through that once. I don't want to go through that again. But I could see Logan Paul winning Money in the Bank for sure. But Logan Paul and John Cena is definitely happening next year. I don't know where. Major with a $1.99. JD, please do the
Twitter troll voice again, JD.
Also, with a $4.99 like, if you was up rocking with JD till 4 in the morning this past Saturday night, OTS. Absolutely. Sidro. $5 super chat. Does Magic Mind protect me from chair shots to the head? Would be magical if so. And if it does, Swerve for sure took some. Code JD206. No, it does not protect you from chair shots to the head. No. Hollywood Eric, 17 months. Happy 17 months in the venue. I acknowledge you as my tribal chief. Raising the ones. Can't wait to watch Punk McIntyre 3 inside Hell in a Cell. OTS for life. Thank you, Hollywood Eric. Alex Calibre with a $4 super chat. Liv retains, Rhea wins, Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber wins at Mania. Meantime, Liv and Rhea would feud with others until Mania. Sidra with a $5 super chat. Bronson getting COVID actually saved him from taking out the big man spot that Braun took tonight, keeping Bronson still strong. Love it. Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those happenstances. Whatever happened, man. If Bronson was in the match last week, I'm sure Strowman would have taken him out. Or if he won the match and he's in this four-way, Strowman would have taken him out tonight. So, I mean, it all would have worked out basically the same way. Demeter Bullion, JD, I have a question for you, my bro, with a 149, and he leaves a thinking face emoji. What's the fucking question? Samurai Sam with a $5 super chat. Do you see the petition with people making videos advocating to cancel AEW after the match and all out? People crying tears of concern to cancel AEW. Fuck them. Tell them to eat a dick and grow some balls. Mr. Team Bringer with a $4.99 and a $1.99. People always ask for the Attitude Era, but wouldn't survive it today. And have you heard of the Kevin Nash Logan Paul beef? I did. I retweeted it. Bearded Beast with a $20 super chat. I had a blast at Raw in Calgary. The Bill Goldberg reaction was sure atomic heat. Was a great moment for Canadian wrestling fans. OTS for life, bro. Thank you, brother. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Ed Velas with a $1.99. Put it in the tip jar. Raging Girl Gamer with 46 months. I heard Gunther picked Goldberg over Bret Hart. I love him even more now. Gunther is quite the troll. Major with a $4.99. JD, before we go, please do the Lyra Valkyria spot. Lyra, who? Bird girl, right? Yeah, I think Jesse took care of the bird problem, man. I bought him a gun, one of them rifles, to shoot the fucking birds, man. They were flying over the venue. I couldn't take it no more. They were diving into people's fucking glassware, man. They were stealing the fucking fruits that hang off the side of the cup. He's got birds flying around. He's got fucking children running in the venue, man. Yeeting all around. Yeeting, no yeet. We don't need it. We don't need this shit in the venue, man. It's a bad night when I hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that. Justin Toner with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you, brother. Good Raw tonight, JD. Thank God Raw is going back to 2 hours. Pumped for Hell in a Cell. Also excited for Julia's WWE debut tomorrow on NXT vs. Chelsea Green. Yeah, the match will probably last fucking 2 minutes. May God have mercy on Chelsea's soul. Mr. Team Bringer with a $1.99. Who was better, Ryback or Goldberg? Goldberg. I gotta listen. I don't like Bill Goldberg, but better than Ryback, absolutely. And Demeter Bullion, JD, can you answer my question, bro? With a 140. What's the fucking question? No, I can't answer your question because I don't know what the fucking question is. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate all your support, man. Thank you for the super chat love. Man, hit that thumbs up, man. What happened to the thumbs up? We need at least 1,000 likes. Come on. It's like pulling fucking teeth to get you guys to hit the thumbs up, man. What the fuck? Ridiculous. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other content on the channel. There's plenty of it. Be live tomorrow night with TNT. Tuesday night, Titans, as always. Best duo in the business. Me and the Silent Monster tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Continue to hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Go subscribe to this channel and the Shorts channel down below. If you guys are on iTunes, Spotify, I'd love if you leave a rating. Helps me out tremendously, man. If you enjoy the show, if you appreciate the show, leave a 5-star rating. Let me know how I'm doing. And until tomorrow night, guys. I'll be here with my cold beverage. So will Jason. Tomorrow night, Tuesday Night Titans. Tuesday Night Titans. Tomorrow night right here on Off the Script. We'll see you guys later.